A single heartbeat, that is the only sound in the universe. The man lying in the tall grass has slowed his pulse to 45 beats per minute. He has not moved a muscle in 3 hours. He is covered in burlap, mud, and decaying leaves. Ants are crawling across his eyelids. The sun is baking the Georgia clay beneath his chest until it feels like a kiln. But he does not flinch. He is invisible. 1,000 meters away, a target appears. To the naked eye, it is a speck. To the man behind the optic, it is a mathematical equation. He measures the wind speed by watching the heat shimmer or mirage rising off the ground. He calculates the humidity. He adjusts for the rotation of the earth. He accounts for the spin drift of the bullet. He exhales. Between the beats of his heart, he applies 3 pounds of pressure to the trigger. The rifle recoils. 2 seconds later, the target drops. The man does not cheer, he does not celebrate. He slowly retracts the bolt, captures the spent brass casing so it doesn't reflect the sunlight and melts back into the earth. This is not a scene from an action movie. This is the final exam at the United States Army Sniper School. It is one of the most intellectually and physically demanding courses in the military. It is a place where the best shooters in the world go to fail, because being a sniper is not about shooting. It is about hunting humans. It is about becoming a ghost. In this tactical breakdown, we are going deep inside the swamps of Fort Moore, formerly known as Fort Benning. We will deconstruct the 7-week pipeline that turns an infantryman into a precision instrument of warfare. We will analyze the physics of long-range ballistics, the art of building the Ghillie Suit, the psychological torture of the Stalk Lane, and the terrifying reality of the one-shot, one-kill doctrine. We are going to find out how the Army creates a soldier who can kill you before you even hear the sound of the gun. The public perception of a sniper is a lone wolf, a rogue operator running around the battlefield collecting headshots. This is a myth. In the United States Army, the sniper is a primary intelligence asset. Their mission is not just to kill, it is to collect, to watch, to report. They are the eyes of the commander. A sniper team can freeze an entire enemy battalion simply by existing. The fear of the unseen shooter is a psychological weapon more powerful than the bullet itself. The journey begins with a harsh reality check. Most soldiers who arrive at sniper school are already expert marksmen. They are the best shots in their units. They arrive confident. Within the first week, that confidence is shattered. They learn that hitting a target at 300 meters with an M4 carbine has nothing to do with hitting a target at 1,200 meters with an M2010 Enhanced Sniper Rifle. The first is muscle memory. The second is physics. The first phase of training is the classroom. It is heavy on mathematics. The students must learn the language of the gun, minute of angle, milliradians, drag coefficients. They learn that a bullet does not fly in a straight line, it flies in an arc. Gravity grabs it the moment it leaves the barrel. At 1,000 meters, a bullet can drop dozens of feet. But gravity is constant. The real enemy is the wind. A 5-mile-per-hour crosswind can push a bullet 5 feet off target over a long distance. The sniper must learn to read the wind without instruments. They watch the grass, they watch the dust, they watch the mirage, the heat waves distorting the air. They learn to make a wind call in seconds. If they get the math wrong, the bullet misses. In school, a miss is a failing grade. In combat, a miss tells the enemy exactly where you are. And then the hunter becomes the hunted. This leads to the concept of the spotter. In the movies, the sniper is the hero. In reality, the spotter is the brain. A sniper team is a single organism with 2 bodies. The spotter is equipped with a high-powered spotting scope and a weather meter. He calculates the range, he reads the wind, he tells the shooter exactly where to aim. The shooter is simply the actuator. He is the mechanic who executes the spotter's instructions. The trust between these 2 men must be absolute. If the spotter says send it, the shooter sends it. There is no debate. Once the ballistics are mastered, the students move to the most iconic and miserable phase of training, the ghillie suit. You cannot buy a ghillie suit at a store. You have to build it, and you have to build it with your own suffering. The base is an old uniform reinforced with canvas on the chest and knees because a sniper spends his life crawling. Then the student attaches netting. To this netting, they tie thousands of strands of burlap and jute. But a clean ghillie suit is a failed ghillie suit. To make it work, it must look like dirt. The students undergo the Ghillie Wash. This usually involves dragging the suit through mud, burying it in the ground, and even soaking it in stagnant water. It needs to smell like the earth. It needs to have the texture of decay. But the suit is just the canvas. The paint is the vegetation. Before a mission, a sniper must veg up. He takes natural foliage from the specific area he is operating in and ties it into his suit. If he moves 50 meters and the vegetation changes from grass to pine needles, he must stop and change his camouflage. He must become a chameleon. If he uses green leaves in a dead field, he stands out like a neon sign. This mastery of camouflage is tested in the Stalk Lane. This is widely considered the hardest phase of sniper school. It is where the washout rate spikes. The setup is simple. The student starts 1,000 meters away from the instructors. The instructors are sitting on top of a truck or a tower using high-powered binoculars to scan the field. The student has 3 hours to crawl within shooting range, identify the target, and take a shot. Here is the catch: the instructors are professional observers. They know what to look for. They are looking for the target indicators: shine, shape, shadow, silhouette, texture. If a sniper moves a branch unnaturally, he is spotted. If the sun reflects off his scope lens, he is spotted. If he flattens the grass in a way that creates a shadow, he is spotted. To survive the Stalk Lane, the student must move with agonizing slowness. We are talking about moving inches per minute. They call it the skull drag. The sniper pulls himself forward with his fingertips and toes, keeping his profile flat against the dirt. He cannot lift his head. He has to push his face through the briars, the ant hills, and the mud. The psychological pressure is immense. It is 90 degrees. The humidity is 100%. The ghillie suit is a wool blanket that traps heat. The student is dehydrated. Bugs are crawling into his ears. Snakes are slithering past his hands. Every instinct in the human body screams to stand up, to brush off the bugs, to move faster. But he cannot. If he moves too fast, the vegetation on his back sways. The instructors see the sway. Walker, movement in the tall grass, lane 4. You are dead. If the student manages to get into position without being seen, he is still not done. He must fire a blank round. The instructors will look for the muzzle blast. If they see the vegetation move from the gas of the rifle, the student fails. If the student passes that, the instructors will hold up a card with a letter on it. The student must read the letter through his scope to prove he actually has eyes on the target. If he gets the letter right, he passes. If he fails any part of this, he is sent home. There are stories of students failing the stalk because they fell asleep from exhaustion while waiting for the wind to die down. There are stories of students who let spiders build webs on their rifles because they were so still. This is the discipline of the sniper. It is the ability to turn off the human need for comfort and become a rock. But the sniper is not just a master of hiding, he is a master of observation. This is taught through Kim's game, a memory and observation exercise. Students are shown a table with dozens of random items: a bullet casing, a map, a compass, a pen, a rock. They have a minute to memorize them, then the items are covered. They must list them in detail. This translates to the field. A sniper must be able to look at a hillside and notice that a rock has moved since yesterday. He must notice that the birds have stopped singing in a specific patch of trees. He must notice the slight glint of light on a rooftop 2 kilometers away. The human brain is wired to ignore details to save energy. The sniper trains his brain to process everything. He builds a mental panoramic image of the battlefield and constantly scans for anomalies. An anomaly usually means an enemy. Let's talk about the hardware, the tools of the trade. The workhorse of the U.S. Army sniper has long been the M24, but the modern battlefield requires more. Enter the M2010 Enhanced Sniper Rifle, chambered in .300 Winchester Magnum. This round is a beast. It stays supersonic, meaning it flies faster than the speed of sound, well past 1,000 meters. This is critical. When a bullet drops below the speed of sound, it becomes unstable. It wobbles. The .300 Win mag hits like a sledgehammer. For harder targets, there is the M107, the Barrett .50 caliber. This is not really an anti-personnel weapon, it is an anti-material weapon. It is designed to stop engine blocks. It is designed to punch through brick walls. When a sniper fires a .50 cal, the concussion clears the sinuses of everyone nearby. The bullet is the size of a marker pen. The kinetic energy transfer is terrifying. If it hits a human, the damage is catastrophic. But the most important weapon is the scope. Modern optics are marvels of engineering. They have reticles, the crosshairs, that look like complex grids. These are called Christmas tree reticles. They allow the sniper to hold over for wind and elevation without touching the dials. They allow for instant engagement of moving targets. The target engagement is the climax of the stalk, the target of opportunity. A sniper might lay in wait for 3 days for a window that lasts 3 seconds. The target steps out of a building, the spotter calls it. Target exposed, range 800 meters, wind left to right 2 mils, send it. The sniper creates a bubble of calm. He controls his breathing, he applies the trigger press, the shot breaks, this is the trace. As the bullet flies through the air, it disturbs the atmosphere. Through the high-powered spotting scope, you can actually see the path of the bullet. It looks like a distortion wave cutting through the air, arching up and then dropping down onto the target. The spotter watches the trace. Impact. In the modern era, the sniper's role has evolved. Urban warfare changed the game. In the streets of Iraq and Afghanistan, the long-range shot became rare. The fight was close. The loophole became the sniper's office. A loophole is a small hole knocked into a wall just big enough for the barrel and the scope. The sniper sits deep in the room in the shadows. He never extends the barrel out of the window. From this dark room, he controls the street. He protects the infantry squad moving below. He takes out the enemy machine gunner in the window. He stops the suicide bomber driving the car. He is the guardian angel watching from above. This is Overwatch. It is the most beloved role of the sniper, to be the reason your brothers come home alive. But there is a cost. The psychological toll of the sniper is different from the machine gunner or the artilleryman. The artilleryman fires at coordinates. He rarely sees the result. The sniper sees the result in high definition. He sees the target's face. He sees the confusion. He sees the pink mist. The intimacy of the kill requires a unique mental compartmentalization. The sniper must view the target not as a person with a family, but as a threat to be neutralized. They are taught to dehumanize the enemy during the engagement and rehumanize themselves when they come home. This switch is difficult to operate. It is why the maturity level of a sniper must be higher than the average soldier. They are given the power of life and death, often with no officer standing over their shoulder to tell them yes or no. The attrition rate at sniper school is high, but not for the same reasons as ranger school. People don't fail because they can't do push-ups. They fail because they can't do the math. They fail because they lack patience. They fail because they move too fast. It is a thinking man's game. Those who graduate are given the B4 additional skill identifier. They return to their units, but they are different. They carry themselves with a quiet confidence. They are no longer just grunts, they are precision assets. The art of invisibility is not magic, it is discipline. It is the discipline to endure pain without moving. It is the discipline to master the physics of ballistics. It is the discipline to clean your rifle when you are starving. It is the discipline to wait. In a world of drones, satellites, and smart bombs, you might think the sniper is obsolete. You would be wrong. A drone cannot walk into a building and look through a desk. A satellite cannot tell the difference between a warlord and a civilian. Technology has limits. The human eye, backed by a human brain and a high-precision rifle, is irreplaceable. The U.S. Army sniper remains the most cost-effective weapon system on the battlefield. For the price of a single round, less than $2, they can eliminate a strategic threat that would otherwise require a $1 million airstrike. They are the ultimate force multiplier. So the next time you look at a patch of tall grass or a dark window in a building, remember, just because you don't see anything doesn't mean there is nothing there. The best snipers in the world are the ones you never hear about. They are the wind in the trees. They are the shadow in the corner. They are the reason the enemy sleeps with one eye open. This breakdown of the U.S. Army Sniper School reveals the obsessive level of detail required to master the craft. If you want to see us analyze the specific rifles used by these operators, or deep dive into the legendary shots of history, like the Carlos Hathcock shot in Vietnam, hit that subscribe button. We are tracking the data. Leave a comment below. Do you think you have the patience to lie still for 3 days, or would the bugs break you?